Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I am so excited because we are going to be playing with the new Nocturnal palette from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. I have been dying for this to get to me. It was sent over in PR, but I love Glaminatrix. They're such a cool indie brand from Australia. This palette is like a grungy dream. The shimmers in here look so freaking beautiful. I just cannot wait to play with this palette. I've really enjoyed the quality of all their products in the past, and this palette I just think is the prettiest color story they've done yet. I mean, you can see the shift right there a little bit in this shade right here called Luna. It just looks so pretty. Whew, I'm so excited. So we're just gonna go ahead today, do some swatches, do an eye look, and then I'll kind of give you my thoughts so far at the end, and y'all can do me the favor of letting me know what other videos you wanna see with this palette in the comments. I believe this retails for about 56 US dollars or 75 Australian dollars. It is sold out right now. I'm not sure when the next pre-order will be available, but if I find out, I'll definitely let y'all know. So let's go ahead and jump on in. So the packaging of the palette is actually really cool. It looks kind of like textured, but it's actually really smooth. And then here is a good up close shot. The shade Milky Way did come broken, but I was able to repress it super easily and everything else looks perfect. The very first shade is Milky Way, and this looks like a duochrome pinky blue super sparkly shade. Like I said, this one did come broken, so I'm not going to judge the texture of it too much because, you know, something happened along the way. It was a long trip from Australia to me, but it just looks like a really beautiful light iridescent shimmer shade. Pretty sure that's going to be living on my inner corner. And then next we have the shade Night Vision, which is another duochrome. I don't know if you guys can see, but it looks mostly green and that's what it's reflecting, but it has like a grungy purple base. It looks super cool. So this one is, you know, it's kind of soft, kind of has like a metallic feel to it. You can see, oh look, the purple right there. It actually reminds me of Verte by Cliona. Super similar to that. That was like a deep iridescent multichrome if I remember correctly. Oh, it looks beautiful. And then next we have the shade Witching Hour, which looks like a stunning like burgundy plum matte shade. Look at that. I feel like so many palettes that I've tried lately have had a shade similar to that, and I'm just living. Anyways, here we go. Oh, that's so pretty. I mean, shine is just beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna do another swatch of the burgundy because it's coming off a little bit light right there. I mean, it does look really smooth. It might just be a bit more of a buildable formula. And that looks pretty good. All right, next we have the shade Luna, which looks like such a beautiful purple, burgundy, blue kind of mixture. I mean, it actually, again, it reminds me a lot of Scrubs from the Heather Austin palette. I feel like between these two, there's some similar shades, but it's just a really beautiful, I would say, multi-chrome. I feel like the shimmers in this palette are bringing it. I was about to swatch that, but I forgot we have two more shades. So we have Fog, which is a really beautiful kind of yellow, murky kind of tone. Super pretty. And then we've got Groom. No, I was about to say Groom. Gloom, not Groom. It's a beautiful, like mustardy, greeny brown, like, ugh. It looks so good. Right, so there's the next three shades. That one has like a little bit of a thicker texture to it, but it's still super pretty, and you can see the shift really well. And there's the mattes. Again, I feel like the mattes feel very smooth. You can see they're not like extremely pigmented. I think they're gonna be a little bit more buildable. I feel like these shades right here remind me of the It's Freaking Bats palette, but we've got Obscurity, which is a beautiful, actually like looks super pigmented, kind of periwinkle. We've got Murky, which is a really pretty chartreuse green, kind of chartreuse lime green, I would say. That one does feel a little bit more powdery. You can kind of see in the swatch as well. And then we've got Dusk, which is another, at least a duochrome, possibly a multichrome. We'll see when I touch it. But it has like a greeny base and a burgundy pinky flip. Again, that one feels a little bit thicker, very similar texture to Luna, but it looks super, super pretty. Okay. Huh. The texture of the multi-chromes are a little bit different than anything I've really used, because I mean on the finger it looks super pretty, kind of pressed down, but I feel like it's taking a little bit more pressure. It feels like a thick cream almost, whereas I feel like a lot of brands multi-chromes feel like more emollient. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing yet. I think it depends on how it performs on the eyes. We have Nightfall, which is kind of like a grungy teal kind of shade. We've got Constellation, which this one feels smoother, more emollient. It's like a yellowy, green, orangey type of shade. Look at that. That one's super, super pretty. And then lastly, we have Shadow, which is a matte black. And it definitely does look pretty pigmented. Alrighty. So there is the entire palette swatched out. I mean, I feel like it looks super, super pretty. I'm curious to see how the mattes perform in the eyes, but I feel like this palette is kind of killing it in terms of having really interesting shimmers. I feel like that's one of the things that makes indie palettes worth the price, especially for this one, because it is like $56 US. That doesn't include shipping, so I feel like the fact that there are all these duochromes and multi-chromes, as long as everything performs well, I feel like that's what makes it worth the cost. So here's some up close swatches. I'm gonna go ahead and insert a video from my phone so you can see the shifts a little better. So I honestly didn't know what direction I wanted to go in with this palette, but now I'm feeling like I definitely want to use either Luna or Dusk, just because I feel like I'm just so curious to see how those will work on the lid and how they'll look. So I feel like between those two, Luna is calling to me a little bit more, so maybe we'll focus on the purple, the blue, the burgundy, and then throw Luna all over the lid. So I think I'm going to start off with a little bit of the shade Obscurity. I did already prime my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer, by the way. So I grabbed just a little bit of Obscurity, and I'm gonna focus that on the inner portion of my crease, and then just lightly buff that upwards. Only going about halfway. I feel like that showed up really well pigmentation wise. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go into the shade Nightfall, and I'm gonna do the same thing except this time on the outer half of the crease. Just kind of laying that shade down and then blending it inwards. And then again, just kind of lightly buffing that upwards. I feel like the mattes are blending and showing up really well. So I feel like the swatches, I mean, it's not that they looked bad, but they're definitely better on the eyes. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Burgundy Witching Hour and just put that right in the outer V. Kind of just focusing it. And then I'll lightly buff it into the blue, but I'm not wanting to bring it up too much. Like, it's so pretty. Just going in with a second layer. I just love this color story, and I'm like definitely feeling overwhelmed because I want to do so much with it, but I feel like a good purple look is always a nice place to start. And then if y'all are interested, I can definitely do some more looks with this palette, especially before it goes live again or it's available for purchase again. I'll try and get a review live. I feel like it's just blending super, super easily. I think I'm gonna follow the crease along the lower lash line and kind of mirror it just to give those shades another little pop. So again, going into Nightfall and just popping that on the outer half of the lower lash line. Also taking Obscurity and popping that on the inner half. And just kind of blending those two shades together a little bit. Okay, so before I go all over the lid, I think I want to start with the shade Milky Way. So just gonna go ahead and pop that on my inner corner. I'm not using a glitter primer or spraying my brush or anything, just kind of wanted to see how it works, how it applies. I mean, I think it's a really pretty shade. Definitely looks super, super sparkly. Okay, I keep adding more just because I love it so much I can't stop. I'm kind of nervous for the lid. I don't know why, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick up a little bit of Luna on my finger. All right, and then I'm just gonna start it off on the outer half. Kind of start pushing it in. I mean, I just went in with a little bit, so it's looking sheer. I'm gonna go with a bit more. I just thought it's always better to start off with less. See how much you need. And then kind of just blend that in. Okay, the fallout is ridiculous. Even though I tapped off my finger first before I went into my eye. Y'all, it might sound ridiculous because I think it does look really pretty, but I don't love the texture of the multi-chromes. I'm gonna wipe all that away as best as I can. Much fallout, and it does not want to wipe away. Perfect. So the thing is, I just feel like the texture is a little odd, and it's almost like a little chunky. I mean, I don't know. I feel like even looking further away, it almost looks a little bit like it's like aging my eyelids a little bit, like making them look a little crepey just because of the texture. It looks pretty, but I feel like there's just way better multi-chrome formulas out there that makes this one feel like it's lacking a little bit. I don't know, I think for the other eye, I'm gonna go ahead and try a glitter primer and just see if it helps at all. So I'm gonna go into the NYX glitter primer. So I just grabbed some of that on my finger, and I'm just gonna go ahead and tap it all over the lid first. Go ahead and do Luna on top. Again, I did tap off my finger, so hopefully I don't get a ton of fallout. Okay, that definitely looks a lot better with a glitter primer. It looks way more impactful right off the bat. I feel like I had to go in with a bit more on the other side to get it to show up, just because it is like so thick. Okay. But I still don't love the texture per se. I think I might grab just a little bit of Milky Way on my finger. Again, tapping off the excess. And I'm just gonna try, should I put some on the center? Or, oh, and also I should say there's less fallout here, but I guess I'll just put a little bit of Milky Way on the center just to see what it does, if it helps at all. Oh, actually, it looks really pretty. Kind of added more of like a sparkle all over, so it looks slightly less crepey actually, but it's very intense. I'm just gonna do the same thing on this side. Ooh, my stomach is growling. I'm surprised because I actually did eat breakfast today, but I guess I need some more. Okay, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that got out of my hands. I do have like a decent amount of fallout. I'm trying to wipe away. I think that adding the shade Milky Way over top did help a lot, but I'm kind of undecided on how I feel right now. I'm gonna go into the crease brush that I was using and just lightly go over the crease right here, just so it's a little bit more blended together. I mean, I do think it looks pretty. It does not look bad. I just wish that the texture of the shadows was like a little bit more creamy, a little bit less thick, a little easier to work with. I feel like I definitely have to do more looks with this palette before I can give you guys a better opinion on it, or like a more well-rounded opinion, because I'm kind of not sure how to feel. I feel like I need to play with the shimmers a lot more and play with the other multi-chrome and just see, because like right off the bat, I feel like I would give this multi-chrome like a C+. All right, really quickly off camera, I'm gonna go into the Arrow No. 3 liner from Nabla in my waterline. Gonna throw on the Thrive Cosmetics mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, I feel like the eye look is growing on me a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some blush and highlighter real quick. So I grabbed the Milani Rosa Romantica blush, just kind of like a neutral, slightly pinky option. Throw on, helps my cheekbones. Doesn't have too much color to it. And then for on top of that, I pulled out the Delicate Dew Duo from Pixie, and I'm just gonna use the more pinky shade kind of on a fluffy highlighting brush. Just throwing that on the tops of the cheekbones and my nose. For lips, I'm gonna go into the Linda Hallberg lipstick in the shade Famous, which just kind of has like a brownie tint to it. So this is the finished first look with the Nocturnal palette, and I do like how the look turned out overall. I do think it's a really pretty kind of blue purple moment, but I am feeling kind of hesitant like on my first impression thoughts, just because I feel like I don't love how thick the multi-chromes are. I just want to play with them more, see what I can do, see if it's just a formula where I have to do my eyes before my face, because I know you guys can't see that much, but I have little glitter particles all over my skin right now, and I feel like Milky Way did save the day, because without it, the shade just looked a little bit funky on my eyelids. But I think that like the finished look is really, really pretty. So I will definitely be back to talk about this more in the future. I'd be so curious if you have this palette, what you think about it, if you purchased it, if you're still kind of on the fence. Love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.